way you're gonna hold me down. I said, I'm going gray in Tinseltown.
You're a beast.
There's no way you're gonna hold me down, 'cause I was born to entertain, and
Show them
you
what a
can't
real woman looks
take
like.
that away. I'm going gray all in your face. You can't replace this. It's going down, we're going gray in Tinseltown.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Going Gray in Tinseltown. I'm your host, Mandy Mae Cheatham, fellow Silver Sister. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'm really excited about today's story that I'm going to read because I just think it's hilarious when I try to act all high and mighty and like I am the guru of life, and then my ego takes a nosedive and just starts doing everything completely opposite to what it is that I think my life purpose and my identity is. And this particular article is about the first time I went to the gym after I stopped dyeing my hair. I'd been in the house for some time, just kind of like staring at myself and posting on Instagram and getting comfortable with like somewhat anonymously putting it out there that I, had stopped dyeing my hair. And then I really needed to work out. So I went to the gym that's in my building, which is a small gym, and I didn't expect anyone to be there. So this Medium article that I've written is about that experience and just a little bit of rambling at the beginning around where I am when I'm writing this and how I'm feeling about this entire process. So here we go. I am not my hair. This line from India Arie's song has been running through my head as a mantra for weeks. The problem is, right now, I am very much my hair, maybe more so than I've ever been. The ego is a tricky little fucker. I had it by the balls about 3 weeks ago. Admitting that I had a problem, that I was addicted to my image and obsessed about looking younger had this amazing effect on my relationship with my ego. I was totally on to her. I could tell exactly when she was rearing her head, and that kind of attention made it much easier to shut her down before she got out of control. The day I decided to stop dyeing my hair and the subsequent firsts that followed were very activating experiences that forced me to be in the present and take things one day and even 1 minute at a time, as addicts must. The first time walking to the bathroom on a full flight to LAX without a hat on. First time posting an Instagram story with the white roots and crying about it. Not the first time crying on Instagram, mind you. First photo shoot, first audition, first time at the gym. What all of these experiences were making very clear to me was that my unnatural red hair, which actually happened by accident when I was asking my colorist to go lighter to help hide the gray. I was like brunette and then just went orange and fine, let's go. That my red hair had very much become my brand, and dare I admit, a big part of my identity. Brand, that word is brutal. Anyway, of course my identity has been carabinered to all sorts of unsustainable things. My eyes, my skin, my ass, the way I walk in low-heeled boots, and somehow feeling good or bad about all of these things always migrated into my hair. When I felt that all of those things were being noticed by others, I became a sort of movie in my own mind, watching myself and the effect I had on the people in the room. The hair was the final shot in the slow-mo version of that movie. Like, for example, I was under the delusion that all the people in all the cars lined up at the light as I crossed the street every day were A, watching me, and B, experiencing a curated experience of me that was firmly under my control. Control. If I just keep those roots covered, I will have some control. I will be able to continue along like nothing is changing, like I'm not slowly creeping toward catching herpes in an old age home. What is truly blowing my mind about all this, and I have the good fortune to be facing it all at once because I haven't seen what's under all that dye for like 14 years, and it's pure white old lady hair, is that I was willing to keep on pretending forever. I probably would have written it into my will that they touch up my roots, and dyed with the powder in my hands just in case so they didn't get the color wrong. So what happened? Why did I stop dyeing? I've been asking myself this question for a while so that I can share it with all of you who are coming along after me. But I honestly don't know. I think Me Too had something to do with it. I think turning 43 had something to do with it. But I also believe it's something about this sisterhood that's being created in the world right now, and the realization that none of this is possible on my own. And when I started to look around, really look at the women around me, I saw some really inspiring things. One of which was women rocking their gray hair, and I am so grateful. Also, the rest of India Arie's song happened. I am not my hair. I am not my skin. I am not your expectations, no. I am not my hair. I am not the skin. I am the soul that lives within. As much as I've tried to make my body my identity, my self-worth, my best asset, the thing I lead with, how I get my foot in the door, how I know I'm alive, what makes me desirable, I can no longer deny that there is a soul in there too. My soul is the body, and it's all around my body, so don't get too close or I'll infect you with the inability to remain deluded. While I was still dying, every 3 weeks, my soul's glowing white strings of passion would sprout up out of my scalp and patiently ask to be seen, and, like most women in relationships, one day she just got tired of my shit and announced that she was no longer going to be ignored. So, I saw her, and I stopped trying to cover her up, no matter how afraid I was that the version of me that I was putting out into the world was the only version the world wanted. I made a commitment to my art and to myself as an artist that I would show up to my own life, whether the world wanted me to or not. And what I started to see emerge was a woman, not a girl or an object or an Instagram image, a feminine soul. That woman is more curious about love and inclusion. She thrives on overcoming her judgments of others and herself, and seeing the parts of others that are peeking out and patiently asking to be seen too. I like her. And I wanted to know more about her, so I just didn't die. I didn't not die, but I didn't die either. I wanted to look at her just a little longer. And the more I did, the more I discovered. Not only is she curious, she's fierce. Her showing up and shining the way she does is a political statement. A statement that is not shameful, but it is a gift to myself to watch my hair go gray. It is a gift to myself to bear witness to my life. So yeah, I was thinking all this good shit until the sneaky, freaky ego and I decided to go to the gym. I've been making a habit of posting on Instagram whenever I feel like being mean to myself because of how I look, which is still nearly every morning, by the way, until I get some red lipstick on. I've been doing this to try to turn the tool that helped make me into this identity-obsessed monster into one that calls me out on my vanity, that I can use as a cognitive behavioral tool to interrupt these patterns of active self-hatred. Hate myself for posting on Instagram? Post on Instagram about hating myself. Is it working? I don't know. Ask me in a year. I'm a student of A Course in Miracles. In that book, it says that the ego, the part of ourselves that believes it is separate from God and from other humans, is suspicious at best and vicious at worst. You can never eliminate the ego, but you can teach her who's in charge. I like to think of her as a toddler who needs to be kept busy with games and toys, and I'm in the best spiritual shape when I can keep her busy with creating characters for my shows and songs, which I try to do as much as possible. And, although she misbehaves when I'm in the creative space, I know how amazing it is when she's out of the way, and I can quiet her with more ease when I'm creating. So there's a big payoff for keeping her quiet, my art. But when I'm not creating, and especially when I'm procrastinating, she gets vicious. I've been so riled up. I feel like I'm having that postmenopausal zest that my mom keeps promising me will happen, but I'm not there yet. My periods are still pretty regular, and although I sometimes wake up drenched in my own sweat, I think it may be from my duvet. I've been more productive than I've been in a while, and I had so much energy still on this night at 8 p.m. that I decided to go work out. One of the ways my ego tries to take over is to tell me how great I am. On this particular day, I was feeling pretty proud of myself for deciding to go to the gym, And my ego assured me that it's okay if I indulge in my self-aggrandizement and wander down the rabbit hole of telling myself how much better I am than everyone else for going to the gym. And even though my spirit self just wanted me to be in the moment and commune with my body, I decided that I deserve to give myself props. I have a small gym in my building that is nearly always empty, but tonight there was a woman in there on the only elliptical, the one that I use for the main event of my workout. I saw her in the window before I went in, and I stopped, turned around, and literally had a physical fit. Didn't she know it was my time to work out and that I hadn't done it in weeks? Why was she there now? Didn't she know how busy I'd been all day and how popular I'm becoming on Instagram, and that I started applying today to be a gray-haired model, and the top agencies are definitely going to sign me, and then I'm going to get an offer from L'Oreal to dye my hair for $40 million, and I'm going to say no? I think I even stomped my foot. My spirit self intervened, thank God. I took a breath and got a grip. I decided there was a chance she may be almost done and that I could stretch first. She is a child of God, after all, and therefore deserves her time on the elliptical. I went into the tiny gym and smiled at her. She ignored me, like I was invisible. Oh, okay. Wow. Young, well-off, perfect body, obviously an actress, stressed because she's had too many auditions this week and her boyfriend's pressuring her to go on vacation and doesn't he understand it's pilot season? Entitled bitch. Whoa. I look at myself in the mirror. My tummy's hanging out between my stretchy pants and spaghetti strap tank top with built-in bra. I make it disappear, and I'm a little glad she's been ignoring me in her sports bra and ripped abs. Elliptical incline on 9, resistance on 6. She's in the zone. Cunt. The ego is suspicious at best and vicious at worst. Spirit self-intervention. Saying those things about her, I may as well be saying them about myself. 2 years ago, hell, even 2 months ago, I was all those things I accused her of being. Find some empathy for this woman, not because she needs it, but because I do. She doesn't know you're taking one for the team right now by going gray publicly. It is not mandated that women make a deep connection with every other woman we walk by right now. She doesn't have to be a part of this movement to make it okay for you to age. She doesn't get it yet, and she doesn't owe you shit. I stretch. My belly peeks out. Armpit hair, neck wrinkles, gray. When is she going to leave? I get through one sun salutation, look over at her increasing the intensity of her workout, and realize this may take a while. So, I decide to use my years of experience as an athlete and coach and deep knowledge of physical fitness to start a deeply satisfying and effective workout that does not involve an elliptical, because I am way more creative than that, which quickly becomes the most ridiculous and aggressive series of exercises I've ever done, including, but not limited to, reaching out wide in a legs askance power pose with front and back shoulder isolations that make me look like a professional conga dancer whose world champion placement depends on my ability to have perfect shoulder roll symmetry and fix the janky forward jerking on the left side of my body with the determination of Rocky Balboa. Realizing I look ridiculous and wondering why the fuck I am inventing new shoulder roll choreography, I tell myself it's because I'm so confident with my new gray hair that my true artistry is just coming out in everything I do, and definitely has nothing to do with her refusing to acknowledge my existence or a desire to just take up as much space as obnoxiously as I can. I add a wrist flick to the shoulder roll. All of the love and camaraderie between me and my new Instagram Silver Sisters from the past month have now fueled a vicious separation between young and old. In my head, she is disregarding me because I am old. I think I look pretty damn good for 43, and it's because I do shoulder rolls and wrist flicks instead of the elliptical, and I'm certain she's secretly trying to learn the routine that I'm just making up as I go along because of my wisdom, and I don't need a machine to tell me when it's time to climb a hill. I mean, look at me. My belly peeks out again. Also, I'm allowed to have flabby arms and a flabby ass and belly because I am 43. She should know that. I mean, I have gray hair, for God's sake. She should be nice to me. I am not competition for her anymore. Oh my God. There's the rub. Yeah, I do look pretty damn good for 43 when my shirt meets my pants without rolling up, but 43 is irrelevant to her. She doesn't need role models who are aging gracefully because she's just never gonna age. I was like her, like 2 months ago, until I just wasn't anymore. I have replaced that old feeling of beauty superiority with a new one. Why do I feel the desire to still make it us against them? Did I somehow just switch teams? Do I feel like letting my hair go gray makes me the now wise queen of the pile who, if she can no longer gain the attention of men, will instead seek the adoration of women? And will viciously scorn those who do not bow down to me, deny their beauty, and curse their work out? Or worse, have I become one of those women who tell everyone who will listen how old they are to evidence the validity of their argument or accuracy of their pessimism, or to gain a competitive advantage against younger women that I can't out-sexify? This may take more than a spirit self intervention. Ever since going gray, I've realized how inflamed my identification with my youth and beauty has become. My pretty girl image, my red hair. Now I've just swapped one addiction for another. Being identified with anything other than my spirit is an identification with ego, and it is not sustainable if I choose to live a creative, curious life. I will never be able to see beyond my identifications to ask the questions that make great art. So here's my spirit self-intervention that got me through the rest of my workout. To my sweet workout frenemy, bitch it up, girl. You don't owe me shit. If you want to ignore me, sweat all over the machine, not wipe it off, and then walk out the back door with no eye contact because you're pissed I'm hogging the stretching area with my conga routine, I got you. I can hold space for that. It sucks when you think you have the place to yourself and then some person comes in and wants you to smile. You're young, you're beautiful, and you're furious. And you're not allowed to be all those things at once, and you're not here for my entertainment or to make me feel better about my life choices. Actually, I feel privileged that you felt safe enough in my company to just be yourself. It makes me feel like there's hope for the women of the next generation like you. That you won't do what I did and spend 30 years making everyone around me feel safe and comfortable and enabling their misogynistic behavior. Instead, you will express yourself in honest and glorious fullness, and you will feel inspired to invent a new conga exercise at the gym no matter who's watching, and, in the process, discover a new way to target saggy triceps and name it the gray-haired shoulder roll with wrist flick. And maybe your bitch face inspired me too. Maybe it made me feel safe to be myself, to be bitchy. Because sometimes I just want to be a bitch too. To let my maniacal freak flag fly. And maybe, just maybe, the gray-haired shoulder roll with wrist flick conga girl, woman, is the new me. Thanks so much for listening, guys. Please share your stories with me. DM me on the Instagram @MandaMurhead. And as always, please like, share, subscribe, rate, review, all the fucking bullshit that you need to do to help me get the word out that you're not alone and our other sisters are not alone, whether they're silver or not. Because the only way we're going to break down this ageism shit is if we all link arms and do it together. I got your back. See you next time. Peace.
You're going hold me down. I said, I'm going gray in Tinseltown.
You're a beast.
There's no way you're gonna hold
Take
me
to the
down,
streets.
'cause I was born to entertain. And
Show
you
them what a
can't
real woman looks
take
like.
that away. I'm going gray, I'm going gray all in your face. You can't replace this. It's going down, we're going gray in Tinseltown.